As we continue down this list of great brands that Trends Electronics represents here in Canada, we come to one of those heritage legendary brands that were there from the get-go. We've had them on a couple CMA Live and a CMA Connect in the past, but now they're coming to the table with a two-parter. So this is part one of two, and this particular session is going to focus on their car audio offering. But before we introduce the brand, let's bring on Mr. Grant McFadder from Trends Electronics.
Quick lunch break, Ben.
Yeah, I see that. Was that a little quick lunch break
make
there?
Sure I got no broccoli in my teeth or something,
Yeah, because I'm sure that's what you ate for lunch. But big brand that we're about to go through here. Big brand. And a brand that is relatively new at Trends, I guess.
Yeah, we're going into year number 2 with them, but certainly not a new brand. If you haven't heard of this brand, you've been under a rock for the last 40 years.
If you're in car audio, you don't know this brand, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
So, let's roll the video, and the folks will know what brand we're talking about.
All right.
When I think of MTX, it brings back a lot of memories, but it also brings these feelings of fun. Because for me, MTX was all about fun, and yeah, that's kind of how we. I don't know about you, Graham. What about you?
They always had the cool show vehicles. They always God, they got aircraft hangars full of those things that I think Mr. Ivy kept every single demo vehicle they had. But yeah, they were always had the coolest and biggest and baddest vehicles out there. It's just what made car audio fun. Some people take it too serious. These guys are all about making it fun.
Well, these guys are seriously into having good fun. We're about to bring up next, and one of them is the sales and marketing specialist, and that's Rico Felice, and he's joined by Jason Planck, who's the senior sales and marketing engineer for MTX. Hello, boys.
What is up, gentlemen?
How are you?
Look at that, all set up, coming to us live from the MTX studio in Arizona, I presume.
Yes, sir. We're in the super top secret studios. So.
It's in the back of
we're in back storeroom behind our office, actually. So
you just totally crushed that bubble, but it's all good. The presentation looks great. It looks like you got a really nice spread ahead of you, in front of you, and it looks like we're about to get real serious into some car audio chitter chatter.
Well, we're definitely going to talk about car audio, but we don't want to be too serious. The serious is, as you said, we're the fun brand, right? We've always been known to have fun, big show vehicles and big products and stuff. So that's how we want to come across, as we are still the fun brand. So.
Well, why don't you start off by maybe telling us about what's been going on the last few years with regards to the brand?
You taking this, or you want me?
Yeah, I'll let you take a stab at it.
I'll start.
Why don't you start?
Well, the last few years, the IVs have dedicated a lot of time to our sister brand on the commercial side to get that on solid ground and footing and build it as big as we can. And now we're circling back to our favorite of the MyTech brands. So with that, we're going to show you some new products, some things that are coming down the pipe. Rico's actually leaning on one of the newer offerings that's coming. And so that's pretty much what we've been doing. We've hired new engineers. We've brought on new test equipment, new manufacturing equipment. There's going to be some big things coming in a short amount of time.
All right. And just to set the stage here, Grant, from a Trends perspective, we are responsible, or Trends is responsible and representing the entire lineup, right? Because I know that we split this up into car audio and power sports.
Yeah, no, anything mobile we do 100%. It's mobile, power sports, the works, and it's been an awesome 2 years or going into 2 years.
Well, I'm excited to see what these guys have to present today. So why don't I let you have the stage and walk us through the selection of product that you have for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you said, we kind of have a little smattering of everything of a lot of our current product line. You know, a lot of people obviously have been familiar with the MTX brand for many years. You know, since we'll say the I don't know if we want to call it the recession, the economic collapse in the early 2000s, a lot of brands kind of contracted, if you will, just kind of going into a self-preservation mode. But one of the things that we continued to do was still develop new products. You know, as Jason alluded to, the Atlas brand of products, the Atlas family of products was really kind of our lifeboat, and making sure that was a strong base for us was incredibly important.
Yeah, we're diversified.
Exactly.
So, you know, that product helped us along with MTX, which now coming out of that whole bubble, we can put our energy and our concentration back into our mother load here.
Yeah, which the beautiful thing about that is, you know, Lloyd and especially John Ivy, now that he's kind of helming the ship, so to speak, you know, his roots were in the 12-volt world. Obviously, you know, everything that his dad, Lloyd, put into it, he wants to maintain, he wants to continue building the brand. So he is willing to continue investing whatever money, time, personnel it takes really to rebuild it. So some of the selections of products that we've got that are currently available that some people may or may not even realize that we manufacture, we've got a series of different woofers. So we have everything from entry-level woofers in our Terminator family, all the way starting with our 35 series. So we've got a nice shallow mount 35 series woofer that really has the output and capability of a lot of standard woofers, but without all the limitations that a lot of slim woofers tend to exhibit. You know, it's always like you can get good output or you can get good sound out of a slim woofer. One of the biggest challenges is trying to get both. You know, obviously excursion capability is a limiting factor, but we've done a lot of work to it to try and design it in a way that allows the customer to produce as much bass as they possibly can get within its own limitations, but still produce really good quality sound overall.
Extremely affordable for a shallow woofer.
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
competitors are quite a bit more.
I think bang for the buck, that woofer is hard to beat. I mean, really, for that. I mean, we're not talking about a $600 woofer here. We're talking about an entry level price point of under $200 Canadian that bangs pretty good for a shallow sub.
That might be one of the more lower price level options in the shallow woofer category.
Yeah, especially with the trend of underseat subwoofers for pickup trucks or behind the seat, or just not wanting to take a lot of cargo space in your SUV. It answers all those calls.
Yeah, absolutely. And then moving on, we've got our square subwoofer series, which are S65 series. You know, obviously we get comparisons to other brands that are out there that also do square woofers. No, we didn't knock it off. I mean, just because you make a square woofer doesn't mean you knocked off somebody else's product. So we designed this, we built this as our own. In fact, the corner design of the surround that we use in this is actually a patented design. So we just didn't go out and say, oh, we want to make a square woofer because you can fit more on a panel. We actually put technology and we put engineering and design behind it to actually make it its own animal. So we have that one. And then lastly, we have sitting right in front of Jason, our 75 series, which currently is our highest power handling. As I said, currently, highest power handling woofers. And, you know, that's one of the things we've always been known for: big woofers, big amplifiers. And, you know, kind of again, alluding back to the reinvestment in the brand and rebuilding of the brand, let's just say that's an area where we're going to be going back to.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, Ben.
Yeah, I feel a lot of deep vibrations coming soon.
Can I tell you something? These guys are the world's best at keeping a secret. You know, I've dealt with many brands over the years, and they tell you that something's coming out, and then you don't see it for like 8 months or a year. These guys don't tell me squat about what's coming out, and then all of a sudden it shows up. So it's kind of a good thing from a supplier standpoint. You don't get excited for a year and then nothing happens. Whereas, you know, these guys keep you in suspense.
And from what I gather so far, they've been busy.
If you guys tune into the second session later today, we're going to physically show you some things that are coming out.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it's obviously in the other category of products that we'll talk about, but yeah, we've got, for anybody who may be watching that tuned into our little Friday session in Power Sports, we alluded that some stuff was coming. We alluded that we may be able to show it. Well, we got permission, so we're going to be showing it.
Grant, you might get your wish, buddy.
Yeah. What was that I said at the last session? I'm getting a semi. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So
I want to say one more story about this square woofer, which is, you'll probably remember once I start. To be honest with you, despite the other company getting theirs to market first, we already had the drawings at the time when they developed that. We just hadn't moved forward with it yet. So technically,
interesting.
Well, some of the people, this is a small industry. Some came from here, went to there, and all of a sudden it's out. So I can't. That's all I'm going to say. But we had it on paper and designed first. We just got beat to the.
So are you saying, Jason? Are you saying that the square subwoofer design has pretty much been on the market, not just one brand, but multiple brands? In this case, two brands, roughly at the same time. This is not something that came many, many years later.
No, what I'm saying, well, yes, ours came out later, but what I'm saying is the design, we already had the design before our competitor got it to market.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand now. Right, thank you.
Only because of, past employees and current employees. I'm not going to go down that road, but...
you kind of did.
But I guess the point to all this is it's still in the catalog.
I tell you that.
Yeah.
With complete honesty, and the Ivies will tell you the same thing.
Okay.
Because I'm here, because I've been here forever, so I know these little things.
But I'll tell you what, for me, as representing the dealers, this is something that obviously you guys believe in. It's still in the catalog. It has been in the catalog for quite some time. Now, do we expect to see any evolution to that design anytime soon?
To this design, probably not real soon.
I would say probably not this year.
Okay.
We'll get into it, a little bit toward the end of the session when we kind of talk about new stuff and kind of the direction for the future. But just suffice it to say, while we are currently looking short-term solutions and kind of how can we start expanding the line and obviously bringing an offering that our customers and our dealers especially want to carry, we aren't just staying short-sighted. We are looking long-term. We in a sense, we have a 5-year plan, if you will.
Yeah, sure. That's a good plan.
So this is something to where I can safely say we're not going anywhere. In fact, we plan to become bigger and better. And you'll hear me say this throughout both sessions. We want to rebuild the stature of what MTX used to be today. We want to become that brand people are loyal to. We want to be loyal to our dealers. We want to create a partnership with our dealers and not just be, a supplier. We're not a vendor. We're a partner. And again,
it takes time.
Yeah, it does, but that being said, we have seen significant growth in our dealer base, especially in the U.S. And I know Grant's had great success in the last year. But we have been putting on more and more dealers as the year has gone on. And 2020, believe it or not, with everything even going on, was probably one of our best years that we've had in years.
Right.
So
I think I said this earlier. Yeah, I think I said this earlier in the session we did on the power sports stuff, is that when people try this product, they are shocked at the value you get for what you pay for the product. I think you're getting 2 levels up from what you buy. If you're buying brand X for $100 and you're buying MTX for $75, it stands up to that $100 price point. People that try it, it's amazing to me how much they just love the product. They're shocked by the value on it, and they almost can't believe that, that little the Thunder 500 watt amplifier, you can buy that for a $299 retail price point and make good money on it.
Great. All right. Yeah, well, you're on the mode of amplifiers. Why don't we continue down the table?
Yeah, absolutely. So currently, we have two families of amplifiers. We have a jackhammer series of amplifier, which we have 5 models in. We have 3 monoblocks, 500, 1,000, and 1,500 watt monoblocks. And then we have a 4-channel as well as a 5-channel option. Both of these were introduced a couple years ago. Obviously variable crossover, subsonic filters, bass boosts, EBCs on the sub-amps are included in the packaging. Nice small footprint set screw design, so you've got locking terminals for your power wire and your speaker wires. So it's a solid, good little amplifier. The nice, yeah, they're workhorses. I mean, they don't give up. We see very few come back. We've actually got, based on statistics, we've got one of the lowest return rates on our amplifiers as well as other components of just about any company out there. So, while we may not be the first word out of somebody's mouth, we're also the last thing they're going to bring back because it broke.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, as you just alluded to, it's a pretty simple footprint. It's easy to install. It's fast, so you can turn them through the install bays. But like I said, they're just little workhorses. Both of these are. Yeah.
So then next to it, of course, we have the Thunder family of amplifiers, where we've got 3 models currently in there. We've got 2 monoblocks and a 4-channel. So this has been kind of the tried and true
for the last few years,
family for the last several years. But again, they're 2 families, 2 series currently. We are planning on expanding. Obviously over time, these will probably get phased out like most manufacturers do, to eventually be replaced by the next generation, the next bigger, better thing. So
I like the new guy.
When you talk about new products coming out, maybe you can't talk about too much, but are we talking a higher end series than Jackhammer? Are we talking a step in between Thunder and Jackhammer?
You're probably going to see something higher, both from a retail dollar standpoint and probably a power standpoint.
Yeah, and more functions.
More functionality. The engineering group, to be honest with you, the engineering group has got a lot of ideas on the whiteboard, so to speak, as far as features and functionality that they want to put in amplifiers. Obviously, it's kind of the match game of how long can the laundry list be before it kind of becomes a next generation animal. The hard part is, and all manufacturers go through this, is when you sit down and you want to start developing that new line of product, unfortunately, it takes time. There has to be a starting point, and to bring a brand new ground up product to market, it's anywhere from minimum 12 to 18 months. Obviously, the more technology that goes into it, potentially the more time to market it's going to be, just because you got to get all the bugs worked out. It's like a new car. You can have a 1970s with a V8 that's pretty simple to work on and tried and true, or you can have a modern car that's all electronically controlled, and you open the hood and you don't even know where to start looking for a fuse. So the more bells and whistles you add, the more time it takes. But ultimately, the better product in the end, I think we're going to
we're not going to
give to our customers. So,
and that's where the short-term solutions are coming, which we'll talk about here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But we're going to, as he said, it's a 5-year plan, but we're not going to say in 5 years we have new amps. What we're going to say is we have some answers for you, the dealers and consumers, coming for the short time while we continue to work on new product. Not necessarily just tweaking this or tweaking that, talking new. So with that being said, we do have some short-term stuff that you can let them know about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's all I wanted to say about that. But
that's all I'm going to say about that.
It's coming.
All right, let's keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, so continue on, obviously a speaker selection. So our entry-level line of full-range speakers is in our Terminator family. The nice thing about these speakers is the efficiency, the design, the build, the fitment into the vehicle. They're great for OEM replacement speakers if you just need to upgrade your car speaker from the factory one. But at the same time, they're also great if you throw them on an amplifier to give you more output. Some of the design elements that we've built into this family, we've actually, as you can see, changed the tweeter design a little bit. The traditional tweeter post mount where it sticks up is one of the things that we've tried to actually change on this and go to a point source configuration on the tweeter. This allows the tweeter to bring its voice coil in better alignment with the actual mid-range voice coil, which then corrects some of the phasing issues and the alignment issues that some people get whenever they're mounting their coaxial drivers in the car. Moving on, we have, of course, the Thunder family of components, as well as coaxial speakers, variety of sizes, both in the component family, external crossover with polycarbonate tweeter. And then, of course, last speaker that's sitting here on the table is in our Road Thunder Extreme family. So you've got the guys who want to build systems that are just literally just loud. And I'm not necessarily even talking bass loud. You know, we see systems like this. They're very popular in Central and South America, for example. You may have seen some of those vehicles that have like a pickup truck comes in with what looks like a camper shell, but then it's hydraulics and it folds open. It's just nothing but a wall of woofers and speakers. That's the type of speaker that the RTX Road Thunder Extreme family really caters to. The guys literally, we've got people that are putting 6.5 and 8-inch mid-range drivers in the door of their vehicle, and they'll have 5, 6, 7 of these things along with our big bullet tweeters. You know, the door ends up weighing 300 pounds because it's loaded with speakers. But when they sit in the parking lot and open this thing up, you know, it's a party.
We're starting to see them in larger U.S. cities, inner city.
Yeah.
I know there's an actual league for it in New York City.
Yeah, no, it's very popular. New York is one area, ironically, and Miami, you know, South Florida and so forth. There are a lot of people that really gear their cars toward these high output, basically be as loud as you can be, and not even from a bass standpoint. I mean, they have subs.
No, we're talking volume. I've seen this trend come from Europe and from Russia as well. Where they can just, they literally will load their doors or panels with as many drivers as physically possible.
It's like a nightclub on wheels, yeah.
It absolutely becomes a sound quantity vehicle, as we like
quantity,
to call it.
yeah, SQ, it's SQ.
Yeah, absolutely, sound quantity.
All right.
You know what? When Rico was talking about those Terminator speakers, you know, what they put into those, you know, Silk Dome tweeters, the point source technology, they're under $100 in Canada. I mean,
really?
Retail.
Oh, I didn't realize there was that type of price point.
Like at full margin, we're not talking about a $500 speaker you see from some other brand. This is like a $99, $119 for the 6x9 retail price points. It's crazy. And on the Thunder product, you're all under $200 retail. So this is like the masses price points with really, really cool technology and sound quality is awesome.
I mean, you know, a customer comes in, sees a brand they recognize, that and then add that to the value and the price. It's a formula for success. There's no question about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's the thing is we tried to create solutions for our dealers. You know, while we may not have the full gambit of products such as, you know, head units and processors and things like some of the other people do, what we manufacture is meant to be a solution for the dealer to be able to cover the customers that come into their store, obviously looking for that core product family, and you know, having products that work very well together with one another, make it very easy for them to build a package and build a system for their customers and tailor it to basically whatever the customer's looking for.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then, you know, kind of moving on, another big area that MTX is honestly really what MTX to some degree was founded on was enclosures, mobile enclosures. You know, if you think back when Lloyd started the company, you know, some of the first items that he was manufacturing were home cabinets, but he had this passion for mobile audio, you know, and it was always about, well, can I take my love for audio from the home and how do I apply it into the vehicle? And realizing that there was, in a sense, a way to do that. And that's where the mobile audio enclosure came from. So if you think back to the early days of the Terminator truck boxes, the Road Thunder truck boxes, the Blue Thunder truck boxes, you know, the full range and sub enclosures, that was really kind of where the roots of MTX started, and then gradually, obviously, expanded into the rest of the family and filled that market in. So one of the things we've always been known for is the sub enclosures, both loaded and unloaded. And for the last several years, one of those that has been extremely popular is in our Terminator family of products. So we actually manufacture and sell a Terminator, what we call party pack, if you will. Obviously a number of manufacturers do, but this year, as you see here, this is actually the next generation Terminator enclosure as well as amplifier. So these will start hitting the market probably in the next 60 to 90 days. They're, in a sense, as most people say, they're on the water, if you will. It's just a matter of how quickly you get here.
How quickly you can get them off the boat in Los Angeles.
Well, that's been a challenge, and I mean, I know it affects the majority of manufacturers out there right now, just because they have product, but it's sitting in the port just waiting on a container. So it's a matter of how quickly can we get it. But with the party pack, we are going to offer this 4 different versions. So we're going to have a dual sealed enclosure, as well as a dual sealed enclosure with amplifier included. And then this one is an example of our ported enclosure with dual woofers, and then we'll also have it, again, accompanied with an amplifier. So in the sealed version, we'll have a 250 watt amplifier. This version is going to be a 500 watt amplifier. So this is tip of the iceberg, we'll say. So we are going to have, moving forward, the plan is we will have additional party pack enclosures and amplifier combos coming. So we're going to expand this selection of products, both loaded, unloaded, as well as amplified loaded combos. So we've got that coming down the pipe. So
what's the popularity on these predetermined kind of packages like what Rico's talking about, Grant?
I think the party pack is what got me into car audio. When I was 16, 17 years old, I didn't have $5,000 sitting in my pocket to, get a head unit. And back then, of course, I'm old. They didn't have DSP and stuff like that. But, not everyone's a $5,000 customer. And not everyone, like if you look at the age group that car audio was typically, aiming for, that 18 to 24-year-old, they've got a lot more products to spend their money on these days. They got $1,000 cell phones and $600 Beats headphones and snowboards and
video gaming cards,
$4,000 bikes for a cheap one, so they've got a lot more toys to spend their money on. And I think all of us, or at least the guys I know in the car audio business, got into car audio because they heard bass in a car for the first time. There was something about sitting in a car and feeling that, not just hearing the bass, feeling that bass, that got us the bug. I mean, I've been the bugs. I've been addicted since 1986. So.
You just ate yourself right there. Boom. 86.
Yeah. So I mean, here I'm 51 years old, 52 this year, and I still love car audio, man. It's still, I get in a guy's car and the bass hits, and I'm not talking about SPL stuff. I'm not really into that, but a really good sound system with some hard hitting bass that goes with the music is what keeps me excited about car audio.
Puts a smile on my face.
And we have to get the kids into the market, and these party packs is the perfect way to get them in. Yeah. Trunk forward. We've always said from when I first started at Trends, it was always trunk forward selling, because the least amount of money was made on the head units, and the most amount of money for the dealers was made in the trunk with the amplifiers and subwoofers. So we start in the back and work our way forwards, and that's what's going to give you the biggest impact. That bass impact with a nice big box.
Yeah, the branding I think is going to help too, Grant. I mean, it says Terminator on it. There's 2 big MTX logos.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? And for that demographic who you're trying to sell that to, they're going to want to show it off.
But I think this hits at sub $600 retail price points, for 212s in a ported box with a 500 watt amplifier, and the kid's off and running. And then before you know it, he's your next guy that's up for that $5,000 system after he gets, what's next? How can I make this better?
He gets the sub in his car, he gets this box in his car, and now his front speakers won't keep up. So now he's going to come back in, as Grant's saying, he's just going to build from there.
MTX's new catchphrase: "We are your gateway drug."
Gateway drug.
Yeah, basically.
We're your gateway to great car audio.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Rico, we're going to see more Terminator party packs.
Yeah, we're going to be expanding the family. We'll have more party packs, not just in the Terminator family, even. You know, some of the new things, for example, that we have coming down the pipe in the world of enclosures. We're actually going to be very soon releasing a whole new family of Sledgehammer unloaded enclosures. So the guys that like to get the fuzzy boxes and load whatever, you know, the woofers in it. So we'll have a whole new family of Sledgehammer loaded enclosures coming in the very near future. So we'll have, you know, single and dual sub enclosures, all slot ported. They're going to have a beautiful, nice finish faceplate on them, embroidered logos. So I mean, what I've seen of the pictures so far, these things look sharp. You know, it's one of those that it's not your typical just black carpet fuzzy box. This is a box that
Impressive.
a guy's going to want to buy because it just looks good.
Are we gonna? Are you guys putting any thought or effort, resources towards smaller enclosures or tighter fitting spaces or solution type stuff?
Yeah, you know, we've got one of the lines that we have had throughout the years. You may be familiar with something called Thunderforms, for example, vehicle-specific enclosures. So there is a plan in place to potentially. I mean, we're still manufacturing a select few models of the Thunderforms today, and in fact, you know, for those that have been involved with us over the years, know that our Thunderforms rotationally molded. We actually have the rotational molding machine. We actually own the machine.
I saw them.
And
I saw them when I was there.
Yeah. So whenever believe it or not, I mean, when we started doing Thunderforms early on, you know, Lloyd realized that I could pay some other company to make these, or I could just buy the machine. It's kind of like the Norelco commercial. It's like I liked it so much, I bought the company. Well,
Bought the company. Yeah.
He liked it so much, and he realized that he can make it less expensive for himself. He bought the machine. So we've actually had the equipment, and that has since been moved to a new facility, and they are working on resurrecting and getting that process started. So one of the things that we are looking at in the future is, believe it or not, expanding our vehicle-specific enclosure family.
That's certainly been a theme. It's a theme that's talked about quite a bit right now, is vehicle-specific applications.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is one thing that is on the list, if you will, that it's in that 5-year plan. So I don't know if it's year 1, year 2, or year 5 at this point, but it is definitely in process. So yeah, you can definitely see things like that coming here in the future.
Cool.
So, then as far as other tidbits we can talk about.
Finally, we're at the tidbit part of this conversation. I've been waiting for the tidbit part.
Tidbits. Yeah, we're into the tidbits. So some of the other things besides the Sledgehammer enclosures, you know, for a number of years we have had our Signature Series high-end components. Those are actually going to be refreshed. So we're actually introducing a new family of products, if you will, that will eventually fill out, and that is going to be our Thunder Elite series. In the Thunder Elite series, Thunder Elite, yeah. So the family will start off with 2 sets of high-end components. These components, for example, the woofer is going to have a glass fiber cone, butyl rubber surrounds. The tweeters themselves are 35 millimeter tweeters that are actually going to have silk dome, high-end, high-quality components in the crossovers. So these are going to step into that audiophile realm, you know, and so you're gonna potentially be seeing things in this family of products eventually that, let's say, borrows from other technology companies maybe that we have had or have used in the past.
Gotcha. Interesting.
So maybe it started with an X, but you know.
Oh, really? We're going there.
But I guess we're bringing that back. I'm just saying we're going to be, you know, borrowing some stuff. So you figure if
Chromie boxes.
Yeah, I didn't say that. Yeah,
No, you
I
didn't
don't
say
know
that.
why.
You didn't say that.
And you
Interesting.
just get all these things out of me, and I don't know where to stop. So
I know. Keep going. Don't stop.
Should give him
Okay,
a few beers.
okay.
Let's see where we get.
Yeah, seriously.
What's next? Okay. Well, another thing, our RTX family of speakers. So we're going to actually be adding a new generation of the RTX speakers. So the Road Thunder Extreme speakers that we talked about, we're actually going to be introducing a new group of those. So, one of the things that, if you guys have had the opportunity to look at MTX, MTX is actually made up of several divisions, if you will. So we have obviously MTX North and Central America. We also have a large group of products that are manufactured by our European partners. So we are actually looking at their offering to, in a sense, try to start consolidating some of our products together. So you may see us not just taking what they have, but we're actually going to be making them our own, revamping, updating, and so forth. So you're going to see quite a few things coming down the pipe. A large number of enclosures I mentioned, and then moving forward from there. So that's kind of near future, if you will.
Yeah, that's next few months.
Yeah, we're talking, next 60 to 90 days, we're going to start seeing stuff hitting the market in that category, in those categories that we just talked about.
So maybe something the amplifiers, or I didn't hear anything about amplifiers.
Not in the immediate near future.
Okay. Drivers.
So not so near future, but hopefully the plan is this year.
Okay. Fair enough.
Let's see how comfortable we can make them.
Yeah, let's see how comfortable.
How about some legacy products from MTX? Like, you guys were famous for a bunch of brands like Black Gold, Blue Thunder.
There will be some names you recognize. Basically, if you remember years ago, we made big, powerful amplifiers and big, powerful woofers, and we built a legacy on that. And what we can say is, we're going back to our roots on that stuff, and that is part of what we're sharing with some of our other companies is amplifier technology, woofer speaker technology. We're still going to make it our own. It's still part of MTX, but we're going back to making some muscle for the blue collar guy. Not $10,000 woofers, a big 9500-esque, if you will. I think, when are we talking about that?
He wasn't, but you just did.
No, I was trying to think of the date. I think it's the fall this year. We should start seeing some of that trickle out.
Yeah. So a lot of the guys that, I, being the one that handles social media, I get asked all the time, where 9500 was probably one of the most notable series in the last 5-10 years of woofers, and obviously everybody loved it. Big power handling. They were bulletproof. They were beasts. Everybody's like, where's the 9500? When are you going to bring back the 9500? Well, I can't guarantee that we're going to bring back something called the 9500. But let's just say we are planning to introduce a family of woofers that will be on par or better in that class of woofer. So something that is beefy, something that is high power handling, something that is designed to belt out bass, like everybody knows.
Big voice coil, overbuilt, huge magnets, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's a monster.
And big amps to run.
Yeah, and that exactly. So obviously big woofers. Well, you have to have the complement.
You got to power it. You got to power it.
So we're going to have some big boy amplifiers coming up that'll go right along with them.
All right.
So this is the short term that we're.
Yeah. Obviously, we're talking short term. But this is trying to fill in the year. But as we said earlier, this isn't just we're making some new products this year and that's the end of it. This is what we are able to what we've spent the last, in a sense, 12 months kind of working on. That's finally coming to fruition this year. But we have new projects that have already been teed up and already in the works, moving on into next year, which obviously things we can't talk about yet just because they're still fresh.
All right, so let's put this in perspective. Grant, from a dealer perspective, you're looking at MTX. They've got, obviously, they're super excited. You can tell tons of stuff coming down the pipe. What does this mean for Canadian dealers looking at this brand with you guys?
Well, I think that the MTX story has always been, affordable products that deliver on performance, and I think that's what you're going to get going forwards is, a wide catalog of products that take you from, the entry-level customer that's getting his first base experience in a car to someone that's, I haven't seen the new Thunder Elite stuff, but guaranteed if it's coming from a company that actually engineers products and doesn't rebadge it, maybe we can talk about that after we've got 2 minutes to talk about engineering. But these guys have some pretty heavy-duty engineers. They're not just going to stick a fancy label on somebody else's carbon fiber speaker and call it MTX. So I think from an entry-level standpoint, base performance and value in product, I think that's what MTX brings to the Canadian market and the dealers.
If I can add to that, I think what we also see here is potentially a very interesting opportunity to get in with a brand that has a lot coming down the pipe as a pedigree and a legacy within the industry. So there's some meat on those bones, and they're just not slinging words to sling them. So
Absolutely.
Could be an opportunity to get on, and you're the MTX guy, and you're growing as these things unveil. You might be in a good position if you're looking long term.
And they have the IV muscle to back it up with a big wallet.
Yeah, that's a big wallet for sure.
That's a big successful company. So
we got 3 minutes left, guys, and maybe Grant, why don't we go there with what you just said about the engineering?
Oh, we hired a lot of engineers.
Oh yeah. So we alluded a little bit earlier that John and Lloyd are investing heavily. One of the biggest areas is in the engineering staff. So we are adding engineers, product designers. Jason mentioned that we're expanding our manufacturing and prototyping and development facility. In the last year alone, we put on several new engineering folks to help us develop these new products that are, again, gradually going to start coming out. And then on the prototyping stage, our prototyping side, new machines. So we've invested here in Phoenix alone. We've invested thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars in new equipment, realizing that, it's when you're designing and developing a new product, one of the biggest things that kills you is the amount of time that you have to wait from developing, say, a basket, for example, a basket design to see if it'll work in your application. So you have to CAD it out. You have to send it out to somebody to actually create a prototype of the basket and send it back. This is stuff that we are trying to do as much in-house as we possibly can, whether it be in the form of 3D printing, CNC machines, lasers. We have, again, invested heavily in the machinery as well as the people that know how to work them and very quickly are able to take an idea, a sketch into the CAD world, to prototype it, to be able to fit it, whether it's vehicle specific or not, to then be able to take our kind of finished prototype to the manufacturing side and say, build this. So we have tried to take, again, it's that 12 to 24 month production time. We've tried to take as much lost time out of it as possible to try and get this stuff to market that much faster.
Yeah.
With the Ivies, with John, he wants to see everything. He's not going to let us do it.
Yeah.
So we can put a prototype in his hand in a week or 10 days and say, John, this is what we want the new speaker basket to look like, or the new can. It just makes it so much easier than him looking at a PowerPoint or trying to explain a 3D drawing. And like Rico said, it just cuts out so much time that we're going to be able to go to market a lot faster with these new additions that the Ivies gave us to use.
Awesome.
Yeah, and if you have any experience with Lloyd and John, they don't invest in a project for it to fail. So this is, they are willing to put forth time, money, and resources to make sure that what we want to do comes to fruition. And most importantly, that our dealers understand, both current and future dealers understand that we're a brand that we will back up what we build, what we design, and what we say. Most of our products carry a 2-year manufacturer's warranty, which, a lot of brands you're lucky to get 90 days to a year anymore. So, technical services. Obviously, Grant, the guys at Trends are amazing guys. They know what they're doing. They know their way around cars and stuff. So, they're a great resource, and we're definitely proud to have them on board. So
awesome. All right, guys. Well, believe it or not, the time has passed. That's pretty much it for this session. Learned everything there is to know about car audio for MTX for this season. We hear your message loud and clear, and we're excited to see what you guys have to unfold, because this guy who's sitting here. Yeah, he's going to be on you to get the goods. So I don't even have to stress. He's just going to tell me, and we'll get you guys back on another Connected or something else later on in the year.
Yeah, we got to book for 2 more sessions, I believe.
There we go.
Yeah, and plenty of opportunities. So.
All right, and we'll see you in a couple hours for Power Sports segment.
See you guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Take care.
Switch Studios.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those guys are fun. I'm looking forward to that next session too, because it's kind of like a continuation of the conversation we were having earlier in the year, or a couple weeks ago there, Grant, when we had him on for the Power Sports. Yeah. They got the money, the resources, and the funds, man. It's going to be interesting what they come up with.
It's going to be a fun ride for the next 5 years for sure, and beyond. So we're excited.
I love the fact that they have old school cats like Jason on there in the design and development, kind of bringing back, from what I hear, this is what I gathered, bringing back some of that old school cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's people remember those brands. I mean, when the X word came out, extant. I mean,
he totally said X word, right? That wasn't just me. That's the
guys
first
that had tattoos and shit with extant on there.
Maybe we're reading into it, but that's what I felt they were kind of hinting at. I don't know. Anyways, Grant, that was an awesome one. I'll see you on the next one, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Take care.
Great. There you have it, guys. Great session with MTX and their car audio lineup. And through Trends Electronics. Looks like they got a lot in the works, and they got some bright minds, and certainly some funding behind the brand to make it all happen. That's it for this session. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.